On this video, we're going to look at the 4 features of the sphenoid bone. So your sphenoid bone here, remember that was that connector bone, and we've got 4 features that we're going to look at this. I think you're going to like this because remember the sphenoid bone looked like the bird, and you look, it says greater wing, lesser wing, and we've got a foramen. So these aren't going to be too bad. So let's look at the sphenoid bone. Alright, so here is the sphenoid bone. I've got it turned so we could see a couple of the features. We'll look at it in lab. But so it's got a greater wing and a lesser wing. So I don't know if you can see this outer part here. That is the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. And then this little area here, this is known as the lesser wing of the sphenoid bone. So basically from there to there, that area there. So that's not hard, right? So in between here, there's this little cradle. It almost looks like a little cup area. It makes like a little U. What sits in here is your pituitary gland sits in here. So it's an extra layer of protection for your pituitary gland. And so this is called your sella turcica. The sella turcica is this little cradle area that is on the sphenoid bone, and it is to help protect your pituitary gland. And how that would get labeled, we would put the tag right in there. So the sella turcica is this little area in here. And so right up underneath there, there's a couple of holes, and we're going to look at those in just a minute. But while I'm on here, we're going to go ahead and label those. This is your optic foramen, both of them, and I'm going to show you how that would look. So there's our features, our greater wing, our lesser wing, our sella turcica, and these little holes that are right up underneath there are the optic foramen. So let me show you how that looks. So while we're here, this is if this gets tagged in looking inside the skull, this would also be the sphenoid bone. And there right in here would that be that sella turcica, that little cradle. And then right there would be the optic foramen. Now it's harder to see the lesser wing in here. You can see the greater wings. So I wouldn't ask about the wings looking in this. If I ask for the name of this bone, that's the sphenoid bone, sella turcica, optic foramen. So here, another way we would tag the optic foramen, there is a hole in the back of you can't see it over there, but in the back of your eye socket, and that's where your optic nerve comes through to attach to your eyeball. So that, not that big slit back there, but there's a little hole back there. That's your optic foramen for your optic nerve that would go through. And if we would track it, so if we watch the pipe cleaner, this is how it would look. It would cross over that sella turcica, your pituitary gland is there, and it actually does make a cross. That's known as an optic chiasm. We would see that, and your right eyeball would go back to the left part of your brain, and your left eyeball would go back to the right part of so there's a cross going on here. They're called a nerve right here, and then they're called a track right there. But notice where it's coming in, right there. So that's why I was making that circle earlier in that spot, because that's where it's coming in. And so here's the same thing with it out. So when I was drawing those circles and labeling that optic foramen, that's why, and they do cross it. It's what's known as the optic chiasm. All right, that's the sphenoid bone.